No, thank you very much, House Chairperson. I think we should perhaps take a nuanced approach and give a clearer context of what this debate is all about. So the size of retirement funds in South Africa is about 4.2 trillion rands. And about 1.8 trillion of that belongs to the government employees pension fund. And the manner in which retirement funds are managed is through asset management companies. The biggest asset management company is a state-owned public investments corporation, the PIC. It's 100% owned by the state and is the biggest asset manager in the continent, one, but also it is the best performing asset manager in the entire continent, even compared to the privately owned asset managers. It does better than Sanlam or Old Mutual or Coronation, Oil and Grey asset management companies. So you have got a state-owned asset management company that is performing far much better than the privately owned asset management companies. And already the PIC is exposed to both government and parastatal bonds. So I don't know what we're debating if all of us know now that the PIC is exposed to government bonds. It invests in developmental projects. It has got private equity investments that it makes. Actually, the biggest danger of the PIC's investments is in the listed space, with a recent loss of more than 20 billion through investments in Steinhoff. So I think that this is a non-debate really in terms of what the DA is portraying the issue and raising false alarms to cause panic. Now the ANC says in its election manifesto that you're going to investigate the introduction of prescribed assets. But you do that in a broad and not clearly comprehensive developmental strategy and agenda. So it becomes problematic when you just say you want to investigate the introduction of prescribed assets without clearly defining under which developmental mandate and strategy do you want to introduce or investigate prescribed assets? Because it must be located within a development agenda. What do you seek to achieve, when, and how do you want to achieve that? Because the nonsensical proposal that is being brought by the Minister of Finance cannot fit squarely into this prescribed assets agenda that is mentioned in your own manifesto. It is correct that for 33 years the apartheid government had prescribed assets from 1956 to 1989, meaning that apartheid was anchored financially by pension funds. It was utilized to guarantee the jobs and the happiness of the white minority. So there is absolutely nothing wrong that if it is properly located within a proper developmental program, we should have prescribed assets in South Africa, but the approach should be nuanced. I want to explain what should be done in terms of all of those issues. One is that we need to consolidate all municipal pension funds. So 230 odd municipalities in South Africa have got different pension funds, majority of that managed by private pension fund managers. So those must be consolidated into one pension fund. We must then have a municipal employees pension fund and then give an asset manager to then deal with the developmental investments of that pension fund which would have been consolidated. And of course, deliberately focusing on municipal infrastructure and other developmental impactful investments that must be looked into. And then we should set a target, which we say in the EFF elections manifesto, must be 30% of all the pension funds must be invested in the productive, job-creating, labor-absorptive sectors of the economy. And deliberately in private equity, because playing with the money of pension funds just in the stock markets without the job returns is wasteful. It is just bloating the stock exchange to more than 15 trillion market capitalization, but there are no jobs out of that. So we need to give a different direction in terms of what should happen. Now the nuance is that the already existing PIC or GPF exposure to government bonds should be converted into equity. We should introduce a new model of state ownership of these state-owned companies, meaning that you must have, of course, parts of government through the Ministry of Public Enterprises or other entities owning a portion, but the PIC or the GPF should own equity in state-owned companies such as ESCOM and Transnet, and then would then have a different approach to how we deal with these issues. But really, there is no debate that is worthy of the sensationalism that the DA is introducing now. Because already Regulation 28 in the pension fund is already regulating the manner in which pension funds must be invested, in which asset classes do we put these investments. So there is no debate that is even calling for the participation or the anger of workers as is being portrayed. It's just a scarecrow which is fundamentally based on the racist distrust of a black management of common resources that must be managed. Thank you very much.